And the marathon continues, Shameless Season 2. And I'm kind of mixed about this season because I don't think that I enjoyed it as much as the first season, but at the same time, I do think that they put more effort into it than the first season because in the first season, we didn't really get that much from like Debbie or Carl besides some gags, but here they got proper storylines because you had Debbie having that experience with death, getting frustrated with Liam, having her crush on little Hank, even though that's just an insane going from person to person bit because you had that chess team guy who's interested in Debbie, Debbie's interested in little Hank was interested in that Holly chick who was interested in Lip, who's interested in Karen, just come on, how many people down the line can you go, you know? And then Carl has that mix-up with Debbie in that situation, but then he has the gun gimmick, and then helping out Frank or Frank's mother a couple of times. So for him, it wasn't as much improved, but given how he had been featured a little bit more in season 1 than Debbie, I feel like it's a natural transition. Then Kevin and Veronica having more emotional story bits regarding Kevin, who you thought was a little tougher guy, but is softer inside than you were led to believe on the first season. That was nice because how they resolved that storyline with Ethel, it was kind of sudden, but it does work with the nature of the show, and you can tell that the focus of the storyline wasn't really Ethel, it was her effect on Kevin and Veronica. So this season really solidified them as being genuine parts of the show and not just the people next door that occasionally get a storyline, yeah. And I'm glad that they did that. I really feel like these two are integral to the show. What? So that was good. And then giving a little more depth to Sheila. It's nice. It wasn't done super well, but they're trying to say that she's a fairly messed up character like many other people on this show. So again, it's fitting. And I'm sure that you can think of other examples as to how things changed here as well. So I'm glad that they brought Steve slash Jimmy back because the way that it ended with him, you kind of got the idea that although they could do it, no one wanted that to be the end. Especially with it's just Fiona having the complex decision of does she want to follow her heart or does she want to be back with her family, and she made the right choice. And having that Julie chick dynamic going on there, well, she was totally giving a signal to Fiona that she wanted more. Like, even the second scene with them, I'm like, you seem to have an awfully big interest in her, and this isn't just the straight guy thinking of Lesbos stuff all the time. No, 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 no. There's genuine signals here. I'm totally setting it up. So that threw in an interesting load into that love box, because I can't think of anyone to describe it because it's not really a square, triangle, that kind of a thing. It's a complicated mess. So they're bringing back Estefani right at the end. It did provide a decent way to knock out Frank, but just all of a sudden her showing up there and not providing the true reason why it happened. Now, they did try, because she hits Frank with a frying pan and she's just like, you hit kids. I don't approve of that. And she mentions that her ex probably was doing the same thing. Nah. But that's just a one-sentence bit. What are you going to do with the character? Because I wouldn't be too surprised if they write her off between this season and the next season. We'll see. I haven't seen the third one yet at all. Same thing with Jody, because, like, how much more can you really use that character? Because he was integral to the splitting up of Karen and Lip and the splitting up of Karen and Sheila, but just what more is there to do with this guy? Because, okay, he's not a total airhead, but his general behavior indicates that he is, and it's not like Luna Lovegood in the Harry Potter movies, because the way that Luna was portrayed in the films is that, yeah, she acts like an airhead, but that's because she chooses to. She can switch between airhead to complex, insightful full themes just like that. But Jody here, he has the intelligence, but he's not really using it. And when he does, it doesn't feel right. So they might be able to bring him back, but you gotta give him a purpose. The way that you have used his character so far, it's not gonna work that much longer. And yeah, you've brought the baby in there, but that's just only a tiny bit. It's not really about the baby, it's about Karen. Yeah. Okay, let's see, what else can I do? Oh yeah, Ian and Cash. Yeah. The way that they ended that, kind of sudden, but I had been thinking you had almost done that storyline as far as you can go. All that's left is to give it a definitive ending, but I only saw like two real ways that it could end. One, Cash takes a stand against his wife, and then they set up a complex relationship where he's not with her anymore but still supports the kids. Or number two, he makes a run for it, and he chose to make a run for it. Don't approve, but there wasn't any good way out for him. That family was going to get destroyed somehow. The question is, how bad would it make him out to be? And he chose the easier yet less moral way out. But at the same time, I can't totally blame him, because he had to have been thinking about that for a long while, and sometimes people do just snap up and go, because they're either that desperate, or they're like, I'm tired of this, and I've got the ability to do a fresh start, even though it would be hard for a while. Yeah. But it was nice to see Ian come into his own a little bit, both with his sexuality and then just taking a, not firmer stance, but more definitive. Like, you can tell now that he's trying to accomplish things, but there's only so much he can do with his dysfunctional family, how old he is, his education, because, like, when Karen's taking him to the army or the other branches of the military, it's just like, what? You seriously think that, you can sign somebody up to fully serve in the military before they finish high school, get a GED? Just because they say that the minimum enlistment age is 17 doesn't mean that you can all of a sudden do anything. Okay? The only reason they have it be 17 is so that they can try and beat out the colleges. But the problem is, you still gotta finish high school. I would know, okay? I thought that you had to be at least 18 to join when I was going through high school, but then I learned when I'm 17 that that was old enough. So then I had to fall back on the thing that I had my birthday way earlier than most people do in a school year. So once these recruiters learned that I'm a junior that still won't finish high school for a year and a half, they're like, never mind, never mind. That's too long. Right. Okay. Since Lip's storyline is tied into Fiona and Karen so much, I don't think I need to really touch upon him that much, except where did him all of a sudden doing something with Mandy come from? Because the thing is, you can tell that he wants to be with Karen more than Mandy, but at the same time there is a bit of genuine interest in there. Like at the beginning of the season, you saw that he was hanging out with Mandy and Ian, as if they did that kind of stuff all the time. But it's just like, huh. I mean, like, you could tell that all three of them got along, but I don't know, because it's just an odd mixture where you can tell that there is something there, but how much of it is just that they were fed up with stuff. And also, unfortunately, I don't feel like they did a good job of wrapping up Mandy's storyline, because, like, I was able to figure out that, yes, she was impregnated by her father, and she was trying to raise money, but, like, what happened after that? So hopefully they bring her back, and I can at least get an assumption as to what happened. Although at the same time, I think she was able to figure out that when Lip was making that video in the last episode of the season, that it was for Karen's baby rather than the baby within her, but at the same time she knew that Lip wasn't the father, so... Okay, whatever. I spent too much time on that storyline, yeah. Bringing back Monica, one could argue it was unnecessary, but at the same time they did good with it, but it's like, you're that willing to forgive her, Frank? But then again, given what Frank did with Butterface, I know that's not her real name, I've forgotten her real name. It fits the character, you know. The continuation of that college professor, that was interesting, but I seriously wonder what Lip's going to be doing with his school future, because just because you pass some tests at a school, it doesn't automatically mean you can, like, make up for missed school. Now, granted, this universe makes it clear that they have the same school rules as we do. It's all normal society rules, it's just that the characters are made up, and maybe a school or two have their names made up. So he came back like in December. I mean, like, I'm sure that there's crazier stories of people that have finished high school that way, and he is a smart guy, but obviously it's not that simple. Meanwhile, a few episodes back in the season, when Fiona and Lip are starting things when it's like a week and change, life happens. You seriously don't think those people that have missed an entire week of school because they were sick or had an injury? Of course that's happened. Fiona being suggested to do the GED, well, she quit partially into her junior year. And she admits that she has a lot of family responsibilities to take care of, so the guidance counselor gives her the GED only because it's the only real compromise that exists. Because she's got to choose. In simplistic terms, does she try to finish high school, or does she help out the family? There's no real way for her to do both of them. The GED, it almost allows her to do that, and studies for a couple of months, and she passes. In theory, on the first try. So, it worked, didn't it? And then if she does end up doing the college option, it is a fresh start. Yeah, they're not going to be too impressed with that, but if you can demonstrate that your heart is in it early on, then suddenly they don't care nearly as much. Right. So I do hope that they continue that, and I am curious to see what Steve/Jimmy is going to matter, because, yeah, he's definitely sticking around, even though it was odd that Tony never went after him, and I wouldn't be too surprised at that character, although if he comes back for the third season, he's just going to be a gag, like how he was the last two times that we saw him, where the police get called, and then they bring him in because you're used to seeing the character, and that's really all he is now. You can tell that he does still want to be with Fiona, but without saying the exact words, he's admitted that that ship has pretty much sailed. Right. Anything else to discuss? Oh yeah, I'll touch upon Karen's exit in the season. Well, I mean, like, what is there for her to do? Because she doesn't really have any money because her dead father's life insurance checks, the banks keep delaying it. In theory, enough time has passed, but given how she's still a minor, I don't think she has full access to those bank accounts, and, yeah, I really do not think that her just upping and leaving is going to work out well for her. It'll be real interesting to see if she comes back, because given how they didn't change the intro at all from season 1 to this season, that makes it a little tricky to figure that out. So maybe they'll bring her back, maybe they won't, but if they do, I really hope it's not that just she randomly turns up back at her mom's house and begs for forgiveness. If they want to do that a little bit down the storyline, they can, but she doesn't strike me as the type of person who's likely to do that. Okay, I think we're done with this video. See you in the next one.